Life isn't always fair or pretty or even nice, and while we all have problems, there's no rule that people have to accept the negatives they're handed. For instance, 20-year-old Kyle Maynard's in town this week, and we're pretty sure that his problems would cause many people to just quit. This special young man was born with severe limitations, but the fact that he was the visiting speaker in Cleveland's Town Hall series this past Monday shows how he's battled back. Kyle also spoke to a group of high school students here at the Idea Center on Monday and then spoke with me. What we all observed from this unlikely athlete is the face of determination and a prime example of never giving in.
But I knew in my heart that I could do it.
Kyle Maynard has never thought of himself as being special. He doesn't want handouts. He certainly doesn't want pity. He only wants to be thought of as normal.
Normalcy for anybody, I think, is just, especially somebody with a physical disability, is trying to live life without a bunch of adaptations, a bunch of changes away from the norm. And that's the way that I try to live my life.
But he is, as you see, physically challenged. He was born with congenital amputation, a condition which affects only 1 in 2,000 babies, and which is generally limited to a part of a limb that's missing.
I don't have a clue about it, to be honest.
Yeah, and I guess most people don't.
I don't know. I just haven't looked into it. That's something that, I don't know, for whatever reason, I've avoided.
100 teens from 5 area high schools came to the Idea Center to hear Kyle talk about his passions and his mission, inspiring, teaching, and serving as an example that obstacles are only to be overcome. Which obstacles? Try this.
Go, go, go!
Yes, Kyle Maynard is a wrestler. In high school, he was ranked top 12 in his weight class in the United States. That came only after he'd played several years of middle school football. His folks, who have 3 younger, full-bodied children, saw Kyle's following in his father's steps as a wrestler as a confidence builder.
My dad got me into the sport, actually, and once I was in there, he tricked me into coming back again. My whole first year, I didn't win a match. But they said all along, my parents said, you're not going to give up and quit. You've got to play the whole season. And my dad, he tricked me. I said, the next season, he said that he didn't win a match his whole first year. And I didn't find out until about, 9 or 10 months ago that was a blatant lie. But it kept me going at the time. I was 11 years old and making the most important decision of my life to date.
When you go out there on the mat, you said to me that people look at you and you can tell right away from their eyes, either they think they can take you easily or they're afraid.
Right.
How tough is that when you look at somebody and it's like, you think he doesn't have respect for you?
Oh, any wrestler has that, though. Any wrestler, anybody you step out there, you can look at an opponent's eyes and you can read almost exactly what they're going to do before the match starts. And I can, especially with me, though, because I know if I look in your eyes before a match starts and I see that you're tentative and you won't stare back at me, then I know that you're going to back away.
Is that like a metaphor for life? Use somebody's own fears or their own strengths against them to achieve what you need to achieve for you?
To a degree. I think wrestling's a little bit more malicious than the real world.
Yeah, I hope.
But yeah, I think that carries over into into business as well. I mean, if you're going into a meeting with other investors and you can sense that fear on somebody else that you've experienced from wrestling, I mean, then you know something's wrong, and you can kind of carry on and fix that problem, just because of the heightened awareness and things like that you learn on the mat.
We talked with an audience on hand, 15 members of the Olmsted Falls High School Bulldogs wrestling team. In the midst of a successful season, it was readily apparent their time listening to Kyle Maynard will last far beyond this year.
He said that if you believe in anything, you could do it, and it's so true. He went to states and he has no arms, no legs, and it's amazing what he could do.
Kyle is such a great example of hard work. I mean, wrestling is there's so many obstacles in wrestling as it is, with the competition that you need to go up against. And here's a young man who's overcome so many obstacles to still be successful. I think he's got a lot of great examples and stories to tell kids. As we go into the heart of our season, I think the obstacles we have ahead of us kind of gives us an idea that, the continued hard work and the perseverance, when you hit a bump in the road, to recover and continue on, because I'm sure that he hit a lot of bumps in the road on his way to his success as well, that once you get through those bumps and you persevere, that there's a silver lining at the end of that tunnel.
You talk about help from your parents and your faith in God. Tell me about those two things, what they've done to make you who you are.
I would say if you combine that with my experiences through wrestling, those are the three biggest things in my life that have changed me and molded me to who I am today. My parents, early on, taught me to be a normal kid, to eat with normal silverware. I type on a normal computer. Like I said, drive a normal vehicle, have normal relationships with friends, girlfriends, whatever. And my faith in God has carried me through a lot of tough times, because I definitely do get down at some points. And the confidence I've learned from wrestling, without that, and the things that I've learned, the trials I've overcome, if you can go out and, like I said, beat somebody on a wrestling mat, and impose your will on that person, then there's no greater challenge in the world, I assure you.
All the people that come through your appearances say, wow, what a role model. Tough living up to that?
Role model's kind of it's a tough thing for me to accept, because like I said, that normalcy, that's what I'm after, and I'm so fortunate and grateful for all the media exposure that I've been able to have, but that's the only way to get the message out there.
Do you feel like a champion for other people who do consider themselves disabled or are physically disabled?
I try to not champion for those people, because they've got to be their own champion. People have got to wake up and realize that every day is going to be a struggle. It is for everybody. And for somebody in a wheelchair or an emotional or psychological disorder, it's that much more difficult. And just to try to teach people like that you can't give up when times get tough. And if you make excuses, you've already lost.
A message not lost on his impromptu audience, fans of both his grappling skills and of the way he has grappled with life.
Being a wrestler for as long as I have, it's given me a good foundation for starting a now life as an adult. And I think that just the leadership and just being able to persevere mostly over everything is the best part about it.
You get emotional when you're talking about a lot of the things that really you want to stress to them.
Yeah, I'm passionate about it. I speak about it a lot, but it doesn't change the fact that I believe in what I'm saying. I know a lot of speakers are up here talking to kids or adults or whoever for their allotted 45 minutes to an hour, whatever it is, and then you're gone. What I'm trying to leave is a lasting impression that someone here could take away and say, this helped change me to some degree. And if I can do that, then it's worth it. If one of these guys goes through and on their way to the state tournament or at the state tournament pulls out one match with 10 seconds left because of some message about perseverance, then it's worth it. Because that's something that's going to carry with them for the rest of their lives. And that's something that, to me, that I'm most passionate about sharing. And those stories and things that I experienced, I don't hold back on that. I don't have anything to hide, and a lot of it is emotional. I was very emotional my senior year in wrestling, and I still am. I still compete.
We'll leave it there. Great place to stop. Kyle Maynard, thanks so much for being here with
Thank
Ideas.
you.
Maynard continues wrestling even today at the University of Georgia. To hear the entire interview with Kyle Maynard, go to our website, click on Ideas. You can also find links there to Kyle's site and find information on congenital amputation.